And what you are seeing, you all can see there is the Elementor interface. Now, this Elementor interface now is always on a blank page. Now, because it is on a blank page, we are going to begin to run our design and put in our design content. Now, the first page of every website, the first section of every website is the hero section. What you have here is a page. Sections are inside the page. Do you understand? So now the first section of every website is the hero section. Now, if you are going to design a hero section, first you need to do here is to click the plus icon that is on your screen. Now, once you click the plus icon, to tell you to what? To add a new container. Once you click, you select your flex box, then you have varieties of options. So we are using what? The direction column that faces what? Down. So let us click. Now, once you click, you have this option. These three options here, this one is to what? Delete the container. It means you don't want this session again. Please let me know whenever you can't hear me. Just call my attention to that. And if you can hear me, there are three options here. The first option here is for you to add what? A container. The next option is for you to edit this container that is added. Then the last option is for you to what? Delete this container. Now, because it is a hero section, you are going to set this hero section to the size you want it to be. Now, it's either you want it to cover a full screen or you want it to exceed that full screen. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. If I come to this place where I have my layout, there's a container here. Now, if you collapse this container, you have what? Additional what? Option. Now, your business is not with these additional options, but what? This container. Now, if I expand this on what? Layout, I have content what? Width. Now, this container layout is to either change the box, just change the full width, because this the width has to be what? The full width. Now, set this for you now, this works. Now, the height they have an issue. If you want to cover just the whole screen, you can what? Let's this is what you have. Come large. Set what? 20. This is what you have for 120. If you set 100, this is what you get. Now, you might not understand it. So now tell you to end this particular session. If I collapse this thing, this settings to 120, it gives you more space. That's what we are trying to say. Now, before you begin to work on this page, there's something that we call alignment. Now, in alignment, there's left alignment, there's center alignment, and there's what? There's right alignment. Now, before we use the alignment, we cannot just start adding elements to this page until we can start adding elements. But the first element we are going to add is what? Is now a container. Now, if I drag this container and drop it here, the container will fly to the top. Do you understand? The container will automatically fly to the top. Now, because this container is at the top, anything we add will all be at the top. Now, for instance, let me add an image element. Let me add a header and what? An image element. Now, I've added a header and I've also added what? An image element. Now, this image will always cover the whole screen until you what? You pick an image. Let's say I want to pick this image. Let me pick this image. So you always allow your image to load. Then you want to select image. Now, this is the image that we have picked. If you discover now, this image is too big. And it is very rare for you to see a hero section that is like this. So it means that what there's a problem there, or our settings are what completely wrong. So now let's delete everything you have there. This is your session. This is a container. Inside this container, we are going to add what? Another container that will control what? Everything that we are going to add to this page. Or we click here, select our options here, move this thing from top towards center. Do you understand? Once it is from top to center now, we have this option towards center everything we are going to add. Do you all get? Now, because this thing is at the middle here, I can now come here and add what? Another word container to this page. Now, once I add this other container to this page, this very container now, I will now what? Duplicate this container. Why am I duplicating the container? I want it in a situation whereby my image will be at either the left or right hand side. Then every other content like my text, my header, or a button will be at the other what? Side. So I'll have to what? Duplicate this container. Once you duplicate this container now, you have one at the top, one at the bottom. But what you want is for the container to have what? One at the left and one at what? The right hand side. So what you do? You cannot change the settings from here. You can also not change the settings from here. Do you understand? Where you are going to change the setting is from container that these two containers are inside, which is the one that is what? Out. So once you click on it, you now select what? Row horizontal. So once you click on row horizontal, the two containers will now start what? Side by side. Do you understand? Once you click on row horizontal, the two containers will now what? Stack side. Now, once you have the two containers stacking side by side, what do you now do? You can now begin to put in what? Your elements. Now, this element by this side, I want to use what? I want to have an image there. Let's put element there. Now, you drag and what? You drop. So once you drag and drop, you can what? Choose your image. Let's click. Now, let's use the same image. So this is what you have now. Do you understand? So now, because I have this image, this and the background is aligning. Let's switch the background, the color of our image. Let's have black. I think we are better. So the background of what? Image. Now, the other side of this place now have the text, the button, every. Say we're having professional in words. Let me we are going to let's have our head in short design. So every other. Now, if you see this heading now, what we've written here is professional skill in what? Shopify design. Now, this place you've come now is under what? Text. So the text element, if you are going to edit the text element, you have for you to what the title of it, you put it here. Now, if you are going to start left, center align, right, this one is what? Which normally the left aligned. Understand about the alignment now. If you are talking about this is where you want your color. I'm talking about typography, where the font style, the size, and every other thing, the width and all. This is where what you change it to. If you are talking about text pro, stroke, shadow, and blending mode. Now we don't need blending mode, we need shadow, we don't need text. We only need typography and the text. Now the text color that was right, and under the typography, to what? Copy. So here what we have copies. That's what we use 50. I know perhaps depends on what works better, or let's say we are going to use 50. Now there's something then Shopify design to come out. That is like 3 lines. If you come here and press what? Come here and press enter. It will enter from the content area, but it will not apply to what your elements here. Do you understand? So it means there's a particular way we are going to use to what to achieve this. Do you get? There's a particular method we are going to use to what to achieve this. Professional skill in Shopify design. Okay. Heading text. Professional skill Shopify design. Style, color, white, font, copies, then what? Text is what? 50. Now, if I want to break it from skill, let skill come to the order to the next line. You have an option called what? Advanced. If you come under advanced, content is what? Touching the top of this thing. Where what we've not added to this page now is what? A padding. So for it to add a padding, you go back to what? Your section. You are editing. Let me tell you something now. You can edit this what? Black color as the background color. And this place too. And change what? The color of this place. You can also what? Have a different background color. Background color. But in most cases, we don't add colors to the container. Once we have a background color, we are okay with it. Do you understand? Once we have a background color, we are okay with it. So now, if you are going to add any settings to this entire session, this is where you are going to come edit this particular container. If you are going to add settings to only this session here, you edit from this place. If you are going to add settings to only, for instance, let's say I want only this part to change color, I'll click on this container here, come here, and what? Select the color. Do you understand? So now it is no longer affecting the two containers. Let me cancel. So we'll come here. Let's go to advanced and what? Padding. Now, before you add your padding, this place is what? Is what in the 4 padding, which is the top, right, top, what? Left. So you will have to what? Unlink them. For instance, if I leave them and I put what? 50, it will add whole areas. But if I unlink and I move the padding for right and also remove the padding for what? We have the padding at the top and at the bottom. Say I want to have 70 and 70. So you see this space. For instance, let's increase to 80 the space. 90. See, so the more padding you have, the more space you have. By the top one now 90 is the space I have. Do you understand? If you have any question, I can take it. If you have then continue. I'm trying to make this class as basic as possible. So if you have any question, you put up your hand, you ask your question. Let's proceed. So I don't know what is wrong with this particular element here. my heading color. Anyway, so let's proceed. Now, the next thing there is a button. Now, if you are going to add a button, the button element here, you have the button element. Now, if you click on this icon where you have element, you have what? Your button. Now, drag your button up. This is what you have. Now, under your buttons, let's say you want to see all services that you render. You have text, you have a type. This one is not necessary. You have text, you have link. Now, on this text here, your text is what? See all services. Do you understand? That is our text. See all what? Services. Now, for your text, there is hover and there's a normal text. Now, there's a way your text displays when it is what? On a normal state. And there's also a way your text display when it is what? On a hover state. Do you understand? So now, this text is on a normal state. In case this background color lemon that it has and a what text color of what? White. Now, for instance, if I click inside here now, I've changed the what? The write-up. Now, any other thing I want to add to this text, I have under style. So I click on the style option. Here is what? The text color. So what color do you think we are going to add? Let's see if we can match the color with the color from this background. So let's pick this color. Do you understand? We've picked that particular color. Pick that particular color. It has been added to what? Now, to our button rather. Now, the button text here. Now, currently we have white. You can leave and change what? Any color. You have enough colors here to play around with. So now we are using what? We are using white. You can also change what? The font what? Style. Let's say we are reverting to the same poppings at what this thing. Let's say we are having what? 16. Now, on this button, you have sharp edge button and you have what? Border. Now, this very button edges. If you feel you need border radius for your button, what you do? You come down to what? Your border radius and you want to select the number you want. Now, under this part is where you are going to adjust the setting of the button. But before you do that, you have to watch on link, because if you do not on link, and let's say you have 30 padding now, to watch all sets. So the on top 20 bottom, then left hand, let's say you have 30. If you are okay with this, you can what? Proceed. If you are okay with it, you can proceed. But if you can still go back to what you have there. If you are not okay with it, you go back and play around with the settings you have there. Let's say I am not okay with the border radius and probably I want it to be on what? 15. I'll change it. So this is what I have. This text. Something is wrong with my Elementor. Do you understand? So now, sorry, let me just publish and reload. Sorry, let me publish and reload this page. Something is wrong. Please take questions. Can you all hear me? Please, you can hear me.
Yes, we do. We hear you. We hear you.
So far to reload my element, I think there's an issue with it. So let me take a question. Everybody with a question, if you are confused, you know, let me to still also let me know. Aha. think the issue is resolved. So let's proceed. Now we don't need this one. Let's delete it. So now you can always switch these things. Just pull it down. You can always switch. Just pull it down. Do you understand? So now this is what you have. If you feel like the content on this page now, if you click here, I want to edit anything here. Now, the good thing about adding element inside the element is this. If you click this place and you change anything here, it will affect these two elements. For instance, if I click end, this one will not move because it does not have enough space. That is why I always remain place. So anything you add to this element, any command you add to this word element will not affect every other thing. So now I want to change the position of this thing to from where it is to probably at what sorry, at the center of this page. On the page. So this is what I have. Once again. So at the top of this page, I want to have some images at the top here. So what will I do? I'll click or add the image element directly above it. So I'll click on the image element, edit the image element, upload my file, select files, locate the file and what open. So I've added a what select. So this is what you have. Now this thing is too big for what I want to use it for. It is too big for what I want to use it for. So what am I going to do? I'll switch it under the image resolution to maybe medium. If it is still big, I'll switch it to maybe, okay, let me custom it and use what 150 by what 150. Then I will apply. Do you understand? 150 by 150. It's bad. Let's have 200 by 200. Apply. Something is definitely not this. Okay. I think we can work with this. So let's collapse it and see. This is what we have. Do you understand? So if you feel like this text is too small, you can always what increase the size of your text. Click here, come to style and what change. Let's say you want to have 60. Now, if you have 60, you see like the way it's breaking, it becomes what ugly. So you can always change it under what advanced, the custom. So now you have to what increase. Do you understand? Now there's something we call what line height. Under typography, there's something called a line height. Now a line height is the spaces between this element. This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is what a line height is. Are you seeing it now? So this is what the line height is. So if you are able to achieve this, it means you successfully what created your hero what session. You successfully created your hero session. Different types of hero session that are. Let's duplicate this one. What now? Have it this at the top and this one. So, and what we're going to do in this situation, we are going to change this back image. Now we are changing it. Once to this your background, change it to what image. You have your image. Now we are not again because already the image already. So we just allow it to load. Once it loads, let the image this one. Select. Now it's active. Since no longer so award delete the container. If you look at and the button and this image here, the background is interfering with them. So in this situation, what we are going to do is what we are going to add a color overlay. We are adding a color overlay to make the text here more readable. So now to add a color overlay, you click on this container option. When you come to background, you are no longer what using background, but you have what background overlay. Once you click on background overlay, under the background overlay, you click on what classic. Under classic, you have color, you have image. What we need now is just what color. Click on what the color box there, then you select what the color that you want. Can you see it now? So if we still want to stick to our black, this is the black. But now the black that we stick to, it is not what that sharp because of what opacity. So what do? Increase your opacity. Do you understand? Increase your what? Your opacity. So if you increase your opacity and you feel like what you have here is enough, fine. Now, if this is enough, what do? It means at this stage you have to what? Do another what? Round of editing. What are you going to do in this situation? You click on this container that guides everything here and change it to what? Center. Do you understand? So once you click on the container and you change to center, click on your text, go to your style and also what? Center. Once you click on text, your style, and you change to center, what is the next thing? If this thing is too what? Wide, go back to advanced, select your custom and what? Reduce. Think let's have something like this. Can you see it now? So this what becomes your hero session. This becomes what? Your hero session. So if you still feel like no, this is not what you want, duplicate. Let's duplicate and see another style, another possible style that we can get. So for here now, I'll switch this to what? No, you know what I want. Advance and switch it. Put it on it. Switch it to what? End. I'm switching them now. I want the image by this side and this other text by this side. So you can achieve that other what? Order. Under order. When it comes to your order, you switch sides. So you now have the image at the end. If you remove it, it comes out, you switch it, what? It goes. Do you understand? So you have three different styles. Now you have this style with the image at the right hand side and your content at the left hand side. You have the one where your image is at the left and your content is at the right. You also have the one where your image is at the background and your content is inside of it. If you have any question, ask before we proceed. If you are confused, let me know. I'll clarify you before we proceed. Any questions so far? So far? Can you hear me? Hello? Raise up your hand if you can hear me, please. I don't know, it feels like no one can hear me. Okay, okay, okay. Do you have any question? If you have any question,
Someone is
you said?
raising, yeah. No, someone is raising his hand.
If your hand is raised up for question, please kindly ask your question so that we can answer and proceed. We have just 1 hour, 20 minutes or so. So if you have any question, kindly raise up your hand, ask your question so we can proceed. If you all are clear, kindly use the comments, the text icon there, the chat section there, and type clear. Let me know if we all are clear so I can proceed. If you have a question, raise up your hand. If you are clear, just type clear. Let me know we are clear so I can proceed. I'm waiting for us. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's forge ahead. Now, everything we've done here now has to do with what? The hero session. Now, on this button, there's a button, and let me duplicate this button first. So you have one here and another one here. But there's a problem now. I've duplicated this button, but I want these buttons to forward side by side. It will not fall side by side. The reason this button will not fall side by side is because what? I created this button on its own. Remember, now, in fact, this is where you are going to understand the importance of what? Adding elements, adding container inside a container. Let me bring in a container and put it here. Inside this container, I'll drag this button and put here. I'll drag this other button and put here. Now you have these two buttons what falling at the top of each other. Let them fall side by side. I'll now click here and switch it to what? Horizontal. Do you understand? This is how you make your buttons to forward side by side. But if there is no, really use that because it is container. When add a container inside container, it means you want to control every element in that container. Do you understand? This to everything that is here. This container is what to control everything that is here. This one is just a test, so it is standing alone. I want it to stand alone. That's why you are having it there. Do you get? So now, for these two buttons, let's say the other one will change to what? Make inquiry. Let's say this one what? Change to what? Make inquiry. So if this button is to make inquiry, what are we going to do? We cannot have the same color for these two buttons. It is not what done. It is never done that way. So what are we going to do? We are going to what? Edit it. Do you get? We are going to what? Edit. So this one should maintain, but for this one, let's have the color. What color are we going to have? Start without a color. A color, entire color. After our color, we have removed the entire color. So for this one is true. Now for it to be true, there's no option here that is. All you are going to do is to what? Get a border. It is what? A border. So the border type should be what? Solid. Now under solid, it is giving you what? The border is too thick. It is too thick. Why? Because you've not added a width. So the width will be what? 1. So under the border color, we'll now select what? This color. So let's see what we have. Is that clear? That is what we have. Are we following? For making progress, let us know we are making progress. If we are not making progress, let us also know we are not making progress. This is a beginner's class. You can ask any question you want to ask, and I'll be more than willing to clarify you. So now, this is what I have. Now, I talked about the hover. Right? Now for hover, and again, there's another thing. There are certain buttons that have what? Icons. There are certain buttons that come with what? Icon. If you feel like, okay, I need an icon for my button, you go under your content and what? Either you upload SVG. That is, if there's a particular icon that you downloaded that you want to use, you upload SVG. That's to upload the icon. But if you want to use from the icon library, click on it here. So what type of icon are you looking for? Let's say, okay, I want to have, let's search for arrow. So under the arrow, these are the arrows that we have. If you feel like you can use anyone here, fine. If you feel like you don't want to use anyone here, fine. Do you understand? If these arrows are too thick, personally, I feel like these arrows here are too thick. So I don't think I'll be needing any of them. But I'll just add something here for you to see how it works. Under here, choose your icon. Then I want to just add a circle. I want to add a circle, a full circle. So this is it, insert. So this is what you have. Do you understand? Now the circle is at the left-hand side. I want it to be at the right. I'll switch it to the end. Do you understand? I'll switch it to the end. Now let's talk about hover. On this button here, style. On the style of the button, this is everything that has to do with the button on a normal state. The color on a normal state is white. That is the text color. And the color on this other state is what? The background color, the button color itself is what? Orange. Now on hover, let the text color change to what? On hover, let us switch the text color to, on hover, let's switch the background color to white. Let's switch background color to white on hover. On hover, let's switch the, no, this one is border color. We don't have border. On hover, let's switch our background color to white. On hover, let's switch our text color to black. So this is what you have. So when you hover now, this is what you have. So this is what I mean by what? Hover. Now, if the transition effect is too what? You can increase. Are you seeing it? It is slower. What you have, it is now what? Slower. So for this make inquiry now, if you feel like you want it to have a color on hover, probably the way we are going to do this thing to make it what better is, let us just go to hover under, let us just go to style, under style we hover, under hover let us have a color of what, let's just have this color and see what is going to happen. So this is just what you have on hover. Do you understand? So your transition, if it is too quick, you what, adjust your transition. So this one will maintain like this. When you come here, once you come here, changes this one. So that is all we have for our hero session. Any question, ask so that we answer and we'll proceed. You have a question, ask so that we'll answer and we'll proceed. No question, let me know to proceed. So let me assume there are no questions. So now, this is what we have. So the only thing I'll do here now is, because I've changed this, the only thing I'll come and paste it. This one now deleted. Also come and what? So this what I'll change to center. So this is making progress. There's another view. This is your mark. Now remember, I said you always want unlink because you don't want them to have the same value. For instance, if you don't unlink and you say, let's say you put 20 here, it will happen to both top, bottom, left, and what? Right. So for instance, now for you to know it actually added to left, right, and bottom, let us unlink them. Now, if you remove it for right, are you seeing it? It will morph, it will adjust a bit. If you remove for left, it will what? Adjust a bit. If you remove for bottom, it will also what? Adjust a bit. So that is how you know that the options that you what added actually what added. So for you to remove them, anytime you are going to add your margin, the position you are going to add your margin, first thing you do what? First unlink. Now you are going to add margin to your left, add it to your left. If it's right, top, or bottom, what? For instance, if I'm going to add this margin to what? Maybe left, top, I'll remove it from the, and because I want it at the, I'll just come left and put it, adjust to that part. So what I want is not there, but top margin, so I can have space. What you have. Do you understand? Now there's something about this. If you look at these two buttons, they are two close. Come on your back. Come under your, want to put, you have collapsed the space between these two buttons. The space between. If you like, okay, I want to add what 40. Like no, it's 50. Like no, put, so it works. You understand? So you say be able to have the of our image right, content at the left, content at the right, image as background, content as what? As center alignment. So let's proceed. If you have a question, ask. If you don't have a question, continue. Now we are going to have another session. Now for this session now, we'll have a title and what? Content. Let's add a container. Now, mind you, for this very container, you are not going to add, you're not going to select a view height, this view height. You're not going to put a view for this one. This is a different time. Now, for now, you cannot even determine the amount of content you are going to have in this page. Do you understand? If you set a view height now, let's say you set a height of, like 100, you begin to have more than that 100. to what face strategy what show. So what you do for this section here, after the every other section, leave it the way it is. Just keep adding your content till you no longer have content to have for that session. Do you understand? Now in this situation now, I've added a view height, I've added a new now under session. Now I believe I know creating what container because to have absolute control over these things. Do you understand? Once but body text. Secondly, I need what? A heading text. This is a body text. This is what? A heading text. Now, on my body text, I want to have digital brand digital marketing what? Strategist. So I'll edit my text here and what? Paste what I want to have. Do you understand? I'll edit my text and what? Paste what I want to have. Then under my heading text, I want to have featured what? Services. Now this place, by what I am saying, you should know that this page is what? The service page. By what I'm saying, you should know that this page is what? The service page. So let us paste. This is what? Featured services. Now, we don't want it to be at the left-hand side. So what are we going to do? We are going to edit this thing and change it to what? Center and what? Center. Now, it will automatically what? Move to the center. But mind you, there's something we are supposed to do that we have. Go back to the song that you created. Make sure it is on center. Understand? Always make sure it is on center. Now I feel like you don't need this guy. Change it to what although it is not affecting anything currently. Now for this, we're going to have what? Have our background black also. In black. We're going to copy black for here. Under style, copy, and what? Style, background, color, and what? Paste. So you have black. So now this one is supposed to be what? White for more visibility. So this is it. Our text is supposed to be what? Poppins. I believe by now we all know where to what? Set these things. So the poppins at what size? Is it 40? Is it 20? Is it 30? Is it for whatever you want? Now, this space you see here now, it feels like the page, the page is too small. But in a real sense, it is not what? Small. In a real sense, it is not what? Small. Because if I decide to what? Click and add a container, it will still what? Add. And the page will keep what? Expanding. Now, the space in between these two elements is too much. So what am I going to do? I'll click here, go to advanced. I told you about the margin. Unlink these margins. Now, in the top margin, because the space is too much, I'll now use -40 to close it up. In this space, I'm using I'll not use plus. If I want to add, I'll just type in what? The figure, the number. But if I am closing, I'll have to what? Use minus. Do you understand? So I'll minus what? 40. Now remember, there's need for what? Padding. There's always a need for what? Your padding. So click here, come to your advanced. Under your advanced, select padding. The padding you are using is just for what? Top and what? Bottom. So on link, top maybe 100 or 110. Bottom, let's use 120. Do you understand? So this is what we have. Top 110, bottom 120. Good to go. Yeah. So let's repeat. Now, inside this place, we have brand media, social media strategy, content creation, as some of the services that what is being offered. Some of the services offered. So how are we going to do this thing? That is where the problem lies. Because you have everything here, I'll create another word container inside this one. This container will be duplicated into what? Now container to start what? Here, one here. Inside this now I'll change it to what? Grid. My grid will be what? Just 2. and what one what row. Now I have here and I also what have here. What am I trying to achieve? I want to have an image and what content, image and what content. So what am I trying to say? Now let me bring in the image so that you understand what I'm saying. Now in this situation here, I'll click on my image element and drag it. Now hit my image, upload image from what my system. This is what I want to have. Wait for it to upload. Wait for it to upload. It's uploading. Image challenge like this. You understand? If our image sticking to check, let's going black upload content. So that's how and my come select. Okay, already select it. You understand? Now, already for the others, we need a for the appropriate need a body test. This is image.
Yeah, optimally guided.
Yeah, hear me? Hear me? If you can, please. Over. Hear me? No. Okay. I think I have a network problem. I think I have a network problem. Let me check. Sorry, let me fix that. Uh, okay. Can you hear me now? Okay, sorry. It was a network check. I'm sorry. I'll share my screen now. Share. Can we proceed? If you can see, I think it's still sharing. But if you can see my screen, you let me know. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Julian. So let's continue. So now we said this place is for what? Image. Let's select our image. What? I think I'll have to finally. Okay. So my image is here already. Let me switch to the other side. The image should be here, right? So now this place will have let's have there should be social media strategy. So now we are going to edit this thing. We are going to edit that text and have what? This is the font we are using. Mind the copies. Let's say we have 18 is too small. Let's have 20. Then our color will be white. Do you understand? Our color will be what? White. Our color is white. So I want to have still usually disturbing me. But I want to have the text. I want to have my text flowing there. I don't know why this thing is disturbed. Sorry, I'm making a little adjustment. Let's see if I have a container. So not falling down. Some is clothing. Some is pretty soon. So so that's the launch. Launch. I think here. Let me do flex. So I have inside container and I also word here. So the email let my this one now text. I think what have the book, but then what it going to have some now touch this a bit. This thing is supposed to be what? Boxed, not full bit. It's supposed to be what? Boxed. Now, because it is boxed, this one too will be what? Box. What? We want to have more space to work with. Let me just put all this now. Hope that which, like I said, just attention. So now this place is going to be what? In percentage. How many percent? Let us use 90. Nah, I don't like 90. You know what? Just percent. Let's see. Let's have 100%. So this text, I just put something or probably Under this page, let me reduce the size of this one. Advance the cost. Okay, this thing nice. So I can reduce the size from that was not just text. Pins, twin, or pipe. Color use some things. So if I want to have it, what I'll just this but down to create copy type paste down what pasted to be more what and let's done. So if you feel like you want to increase you feel like you should increase the button, the text size, go to your typography. Is already on 16. Probably we can have 18, we can have 17, or whatever of feel is best for us. Do you understand? Are we following? So this is what you have on this side. So the other side, if you want to have all these things, just copy, come here and what? And paste. No work. No work. So I have to do everything again. Copy, paste, and like. So I want to copy and paste everything I have there, but I'm having a challenge. So if I have a challenge, if I have a challenge, I have to what? Create everything from. If I have a challenge, I have to create everything from what? Scratch. The same thing I've created there, I have to what? Recreate them at this other side again. Do you understand? So if I'm recreating them now, I have this, I have this. Do you understand? So once I have this, I'll duplicate. So 1, 2. You have 1, you have 2. So under image, let me look for an image that we are going to fit in there. So under here, I'll have my image element. So under my image element, I'll edit and what? Upload an image. So this is my image. So the image is loading. Let's allow the image to load. So under here, I have heading text. I think I can copy this one. Paste. Okay. Paste. Copy. Click here. Paste. Button. Copy. Click here and also what? Paste. So this is what you have. So let's check if the image has finished what? Loading. Okay, it has. So let's what? Select the image. Do you understand? Let's select our image. So now you always have problems like this. The reason you have problems like this is because probably the two images you are using are not what of the same what they're not of the same size. So if you have problems like this, that is where you have to use your Photoshop to start what adjusting the settings. It means you have to use Photoshop to start what adjusting your settings. So let's check something. Under our image, this one is 1 2 1 2 2 5 5 1 500. This one is 1 2 1 0 2 4 5 6 3. So that is the problem we have with our image there. That is the problem I have with our image there. But then we can always fix these things. These are just what minor issues. Now, if you leave this space, if you leave this thing like this, for instance, now, if you leave this thing like this, if you look at it, it feels like everything is just standing on their own without any control. Do you understand? It feels like everything is standing on their own without any control. So what are you going to do? You are going to create what is a border. You're going to have what? A border under your style. Select border. Under border, you select what? Solid. Under solid, select your border what? Width. Let's just use 1. Under this radius, let's have what? Just 15. Under your border color, select what? White. But this white now, they are not going to allow the white to be what? Too loud. They're not going to allow the white to be too loud. Let me leave this one too loud and put the other and make it not too loud so that you see what the difference. So what I have to do here now is just to copy, click here and what? Paste the style, because I don't have to go back to the whole process again. So if you look at this thing now, you see that the same white border I have here is also what applied here. So in this very place now, let me do something. I'll click on this border settings for this part and what? Change the what? The border to a lesser opacity. Do you understand? Let's have a lesser opacity. So let's see the difference. Are you seeing the difference now? This one is what? Better than this one. I don't know about you, but for me, it feels like this one here is better what than what we have here. Do you understand? So if that is the case, I'll now copy and come back here and what? Paste the style so that we can have them equal. Because I cannot go back to start tracing what I have here. So I don't know if you are making progress. If you have a question, you can ask. If you have any question, you can ask. Anyone with a question, kindly raise up your hand, ask for a question so that I'll answer and will proceed. Anyone with a question, please. Okay. No questions. Let's go back. Now, the settings you have here is because you've what? If I change this thing to start like this now, this is what you have. This is what you have. Do you understand? So if you feel like, this image is too big, come here and what? Reduce it. You can have medium, you can have thumbnail, you can just play around with this option that I have. But at least let it be that whatever you are doing is what? Falling into place. Whatever you are doing is falling into what? Place. Now, if you feel like, no, this is not how it's supposed to be, you can always go back and what? Still switch. It will still give you the initial content that you have. Now, in a situation whereby, let's assume they have more than 2 services, probably 4 services. Maybe they have paid advertising and web design again. Now, we are not going to go through the whole process again. No. The only thing we are going to do is just what? Right click here and what? Duplicate. So once you duplicate this container, the only thing you have to come is to come down here and start what? Changing their information. So now it's paid advertising. Do you understand? Then maybe this one they said what they have here is what? Web design. So the only thing that you're going to do here is just what? Begin to switch the images for all of them to fit into what? The title that they represent. Do you understand? You switch the images for all of them to what? Fit in the title that they represent. So have we made progress so far? I want to hear from you. It feels like I'm the only one talking and it's becoming boring to me. Let me hear from you. Can you all hear me?
Yeah, I believe they can all hear. But please, if you have any question, let's try and communicate. This is supposed to be like an interactive section.
Right. Yes.
Abdugafar Edidion, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that well, sorry. But please, let's ask on, since you are not much and all.
Edith Young, if you have a question, you can ask. Abdugafar, if you have a question, you can ask.
Maybe you can go on. Is showing thumbs up, so maybe you can just go ahead.
So that's like, okay, so fine. Yeah. So that's what we have. So at the end of everything, let us assume these are the services they offer: social media strategy. I'll have this in twice. Let's say there's content creation. We change this one to content creation. Sorry. social media, content creation, paid advertising, web design. So if these are the 4 services they have, and you feel like no, there are more services, and if you feel like there are actually more services, and you don't want to work, let's say even if there are more services now, and you cannot keep using this session to add services upon what services. The only thing you have to do here now is just to work. Just have a button below. Let's create a button below this place here. Do you understand? Or create an element. No, let me just have a button just below here. Do you understand? So now the button will now be what? For them to see what? All services. Do you understand? The button will be for them to see all services. Since we have a button like that, okay, see all services. So let's copy it. So if we copy, just come here and what? Paste style or paste the button, anyone. So delete this one. So here now we don't want this don't want that icon here. So see all services. I think it's better this way. So it's for them to come and see what all services. But what I want here now is this button should not have what any color. I don't want the button to have any color. So what I will do is to remove the color. The button should only maintain what an outline, which is called what border. So solid border radius is just 1. Color is this. Do you understand? So on hover now, if they hover on this button, the color should no longer be white or what this. So this is what I have on hover. Do you get? This is what I have on hover. So let us, if you want to save your work, always publish. If you publish, it means what? You've saved your work. Whenever you publish, it means what? You've saved your work. So if you want to view what you've done so far, you view page. Click on what view page. But I want to open it on another page entirely to view. So copy your link, open your browser, paste it plus your page name, which is what? Webinar. And what? You understand? So let me share the screen where I am viewing what we've done so far. Let me share the screen where I am viewing what we've done so far. So I'll stop sharing this screen, or rather, let me present something else. So where do we have it? I've opened it to webinar, share. So now this is it. Can you all see my screen? So this is what we've been trying to achieve since. So if you come here now, so this is what we've been doing. So this was the first one that we created. This is the second one that we created. This is the third one we created, and this is what the final one. Sorry, this is another session entirely. Do you understand? This is another session entirely. So this is what we have. Like I said, this image is not rightly positioned. The alignment is not working. There's a way to fix it. That's where you have to bring in your Photoshop skill, Photoshop experience to make sure they have the same width and height. So that we want they have same width and height. So it's very easier for it to match them. Give your work that's perfectly. Do you understand? So let's go back to this place. So I'll go back and share my initial screen and present something else. Let's go back and share. Eddie John, you can ask a question.
All right, yes, sir. For the last section that you did here, how do you actually get the spacing between the learn more and see all services? The last section, the one you did.
Okay.
Because it was like, imagine wanted to adjust that spacing, yes, between this see all services and this, like, if we wanted to make it, let's say, a little bit to increase the space.
Okay, if I want to increase this space now,
yes,
further away from this content.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I want to shift it further away from this content, I'll click on this place. Are you seeing it?
Yes, I'm seeing you, sir.
On this place. Go to advanced. On advanced, unlink the options, unleak this option inside this match. You know, you can have top, right, bottom, and left space. Left
Yes, sir.
space rather. So now I'll unleak because your question is to what have spacing at the top
At the
in
top.
between them. So I'll unleak, then at the top I can have what maybe 40.
Oh, okay.
You understand? So if
Yes.
40, 30, 20, 50, 100, whatever works for you, fine. But then follow the rules. So let's say I want to have 30. So this is what I have. You answer the question.
Yes, you have. Well, I have another question, if you don't mind. A follow up to
Yeah,
that one.
okay,
So,
so
like coming from designing from Figma, yeah.
okay.
I don't know. Are they like giving conventions for the spacing for WordPress, or we just go with our eyes and whatever we think works? Like if it was
Okay,
Figma,
now
we're like using 20, 24, 32, 40. Like, does WordPress work like that too?
yes, it has all those controls. Now the thing is, the reason we are doing this thing now is because we do not have a guide. So
Oh,
what we are working with, what we are working basically with now is everything is in our head. We are just working with everything in our head. Do you understand? Now, the moment we have the guide, now if you are getting a Figma file, if you are working with a Figma file, you what you should understand is the UX designer have gone through the whole process for you.
okay.
Your header has a particular what size, it has color, it has spacing and everything. So once you get that Figma file, you'll see everything there. Do you understand? So
Yes, I
in that
do.
situation, if we are going to build this design based on the Figma document you have, everything we are going to use here is what is in that document.
Okay, makes
So
sense.
even this button now, maybe our button here has border radius, and in the document there are no border radius. What are we going to do? We come here and what? Remove it quietly. Why? Because there are no border radius in the document. So this is what you now have. Do you understand? If in the
Very well,
document
I understand.
the border radius is like, let's say in the document our border radius is 30, we'll have to come here and adjust our border radius to what? 30. And I feel like this one works better than the previous one I had. Are you seeing it now?
Yes, it does.
So that's how it is.
Thank you very much.
That's it, it's fine. So now, for instance, if you have all these things here, it's not just having them. Having them is a thing. How they work is what? Another thing. So, for instance, this button that is here now, functional. So if you edit your buttons under your content, you see what is called what? Link. This link means what? A link to the button. It means link to what? Button. So let's add a link and see how it works. So under this link, it's on hash. Hash is when you don't have a link, just put it there. Let's have, probably we say, okay, let's button link us to what? Facebook. Let the button link us to what? Instagram or a particular place. Do you understand? So if it's going to link us to Facebook, let's do our what? Publish. So after publishing, let's go back to what? Where we have our design. Present something else. Let's see what we have. Share. Can you all see my screen? Now, this is what I've shared. Where is the button? This is the button. So if, let's refresh, it is still showing our previous what settings because it was not refreshed. So let's refresh the page. So you see now that's adjusted to what we have currently. So if you click on it now, it will now take you to what? Facebook.com, because that was the link that was created to take you to what? Facebook.com, because that is what the link, that's what we linked our button to. So all these buttons are going to be linked to what? To something. If you link this into Instagram, once they click on it, it will take them to what? Instagram. If you link it to YouTube, it will take them to what? YouTube. If you link them to WhatsApp, it will take you to what? WhatsApp. If you link it to another page in this what? WordPress, it will take them to that page. Do you understand? So that's how this thing works. We have like, let's say we have like 30 or less than 30 more minutes. Let's say we have like 25 more minutes to go. So before we elapse our time, I'd like to take questions. I would like to take questions seriously, because it is from that question I'll know that you are following, or it is still from that question, I know there's something that I've not said, or there's need for clarity. So please, if you have a question, put up your hand, ask a question, let me answer you so we can proceed. Aizat, are you there? Blessed, Abdul Gafaru, Edidion,
Yes,
any
I can
question?
hear you. I'm waiting for them to ask their question. So
Okay.
that means nobody has question. Well,
Good
okay.
evening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
good
evening.
evening.
So my own question is that let's say I'm a beginner. Before you can have access to
Okay.
this WordPress, is it that is it a software you're going to download on your laptop or an application to your phone, or how will you have access to WordPress or this Elementor before you start using the platform? That's what I
Okay.
want to know. If I want to start designing, or what you have taught us, now, if I want to start designing, how will I have access to this WordPress or Figma? What are the steps?
Now, if you are going to have access to WordPress, now WordPress is, is actually an online-based software. Do you
Okay.
understand? Now, because WordPress is an online-based software, you are going to install WordPress to your host account. Now, how do you
Okay.
install this WordPress to your host account? I would like to do a quick demonstration for you to understand. Do you get?
Okay, sir.
So, I'm thinking of if I have any host. Okay, let me use. I have a host. I want to use the one that will be easier for you all to understand. Let
Okay.
me visit. Let me visit the website now.
Okay, sir.
So while you are doing that, if another person have a question, you can ask while I'm trying to load this now, showing the process. Ready, John? Ask a
All right,
question.
sir. Yes, I have another question.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm a product designer, and
Okay.
I would also like to practice what you've shown us this weekend. So, in everything, is it possible to just show us, or I don't know, just give us a hint of how we can take like an existing design that we have on Figma to like try it out using Elementor, even if it's just the basics of how to just export it or bring it inside here, if that's possible. But if it's not, it's fine too.
Okay. Now the thing is, if you share a Figma file, if you have, okay, let's do it like this. You've created a design, right?
Yes,
Now
sir. I
you've
have my
created this
design.
design. You've created this design on Figma. What you are going to do after creating this design on Figma is to what? Invite probably the designer to that design. Do you get? Now, or you've exported it. It's not even or. You invite the designer to that design, or let's say you exported it as what? A PDF, and you've shared with the designer. Do you understand? So the designer is going to have that design side by side. While they are working, they are looking at what you have on the screen there. Do you understand? But
Okay,
then
but in this case,
the
I'm the
best,
designer.
you said?
But in this case, I'm the designer. Like I'm the
You are the
one who is. Yes.
you are the designer that have created it on Figma, right?
Yes.
Now you are still going to use that document you have on Figma is what you are going to follow to design on WordPress.
Okay.
Do you understand? So it means that everything that you've created on Figma, you are going to use a process that we've worked with today to start what? Adding them on what? WordPress. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if you need the process, because the question Gafar asked is how you are going to have this WordPress installed and begin your design.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now let me answer your question. Now I'll share a screen for you now. Let me share another screen. Where is it? Where is it? Q server. Now, what you are seeing here is a screen of a what? Of a host company called what? Q server. Do you understand?
Okay.
Now, on this host company, now we worked on a website, this blessed Bonnie M Pharmacy.com. Now, on this blessed Bonnie M Pharmacy.com, this is what the host, the web hosting. This is WordPress one hosting this what domain name. This www.blessedponypharmacy.com is what? A domain name. Do you understand? Now, this is
Okay.
what is what? Hosting it. Now, if I want to install WordPress, I'll log into my what? My cPanel. Do you understand? I'll log into my cPanel. Now, once I click on this login, it will open a new page for me entirely. Now, that page is loading. Once the page finish loading, I'll also what? Share it for you. Do you understand? Now, the page has finished loading. So, let's see the page. This is the page, right?
Okay, yes.
Now, on this page, you are going to click on what? WordPress by what? Softaculous. Though, on this very page, you have what? Tools. Under your tools now, this is what? WordPress Manager by what? Softaculous. So you click on it. So if you click on this WordPress Manager by Softaculous, it will now bring you to this page. Do you understand? On this page
Okay.
now, I have what? A user already. I've installed WordPress. That is why you can see this thing. That's why you see installations. One, this is my installation, right? But if you want to make an installation now, you click on what? Install. Do you understand? Now, if you click on install, it will now bring you to this page. Do you understand? On this page now, what are you installing? You are installing WordPress, right? Now, choose installation URL. This is the URL, so you don't have a problem with this one. Do you get? This is the website you are building, so you don't have a problem with this one. Now, this site name, you can change it here or leave it and what? Change it what? Later. Do you understand? Here is what? Your username. If your name is Gafaru, you press what? Gafaru. Do you understand? What password
Okay,
are you
sir.
going to use? Maybe the password is what? Gafaru, anything you want to what? Put. Now, if your password is okay, they'll tell you. You have an email, you put the email. If you are done with all these things, you click on what? Install. Do you understand? You click
Okay,
on
sir.
what? Install. So once you click on install, the installation process for WordPress will automatically what? Begin. You understand? Or
Okay.
installation process for WordPress will automatically what? Begin. Now, once that process begins, you now have your WordPress what? Installed. Now, once you have your WordPress installed, how do you locate what you've installed, or how do you even access your admin what? Dashboard? That becomes what? The next question. So let us access the admin dashboard for that one. Let's set dashboard. Okay. So if you've successfully what? Installed your WordPress, you have to now go what? The front end of what? Your listing. Do you understand?
Okay.
So let's see what we have. You can now present something else and now go to what? Our what? Front end. Now this is what you have after installing it. Do you understand? It will bring you to
Okay,
this
sir.
page. Now this place is where the whole process that you've the process you went through during the installation process is what will now bring you here. Do you get? So once you get to
Okay.
this place, you now impute the same username and password you created from that point and click on what? Login.
Okay.
So if your username and password is correct, it will now what? Login. If your username and password is not correct, it will not what? Login. So because our username and password is correct, that is why we are now what? Here. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because our username and password is correct, that is why we are now what? We are now here. Do you understand?
Okay, sir.
So from here now, you can now start your what? Your design. For instance, let me open what? This is what? All pages. So under all pages, these are all the pages I have on this what? Particular website. These are all what? The pages I have. So all these things are what forms what? The menus. Do you understand?
Okay.
So if I
Okay.
want, I'll add a new page. So if
Okay.
you add a new page, probably the name of that page becomes what? Maybe webinar or any other name you intend to give to it. Do you understand? So if I am calling this thing now webinar, I what? Publish. I what? Publish again. Do you understand? They're telling me to
Okay.
choose a pattern. I don't want to use any pattern because I'm going to build it what? From
From the
scratch.
scratch.
So because I'm going to build from scratch, I'll now what? Edit with Elementor.
Okay.
Do you understand? So it will edit to Elementor and now bring you here.
Okay, sir.
Do you understand the process now?
Yes, sir.
So once this thing finishes loading, it will now give us that initial page where we're working, where we are doing what? Our design. You have everything there. I can now what? Start designing.
Okay.
Shall
That
you see
means
now?
we must of us have a server or a host, Abi, before it
Yes,
can.
you must have
Okay.
you must have a domain name and a host.
Okay.
You understand? Now, if you see this thing, what you have here now is our page. It's practically basically our page looking dirty. Do you understand? Because if we try to access this page now, we'll be seeing this webinar on the page of which it is not supposed to appear because it is already what it is already a menu on the menu bar. You understand? It's
Okay.
one of the menus. It's already a page appearing on the menu bar. Do you understand? So we don't need all these things that are showing here. All these blessed Bonnie M pharmacy, all these about and the rest, we don't need them. So what do you go? What are you going to do? You click under what? Settings. Do you understand? From
Okay.
settings now, you change your page layout to what? Elementor canvas.
Okay.
Click on it. So once you change it to Elementor canvas, it will load. Once it loads, it will now pull off everything that is there. Do you understand? So once it pulls off everything that is there, you now have a blank page to start what? Designing with. So that's
Okay.
what brings us to where you click
Okay,
flex box, select your flex box, because this is what? Your hero session, you have what? Full width. Do you understand? If you have
Okay,
your
sir.
background, pull your background, push your color, select, and you can now what? Work. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Sir, please, my next question is that, well, all the difference between the UI and UX designer and website designer, are they the same thing, or what are they? Is there difference between them?
Okay, the UI designer,
And
always, and website designer,
yes,
the
sir.
UI designer is, for instance, now, if you have a project that you're going
Okay.
to work on, you
Yes, sir.
now, it's a project you intend to go live. Do you understand? Now,
Okay.
you now contacted a UI designer to build this design, to build the interface of the website for you. Now, if a
Okay.
UI designer build the interface of the website for you, the website will still not go live. Do you understand? You need a web designer to achieve what that UI designer has built. Do you understand?
Okay.
So
Okay,
what
sir.
the UI designer built is basically just offline. You will see it, you understand, you see it, you visualize everything. They've given you what your website is going to look like.
Look like
You
okay.
edit and make adjustments and everything you want. Do you understand?
Okay,
Now
sir.
you now require the services of a website designer to now make that website go live
To come to
in such
life.
a way that
Okay.
yes, so the coming to life is a situation whereby people from different parts of the world can now what access that design.
Website. Okay. Thank you,
So
sir.
that is the difference. So the UI will build a product that will not go live,
Okay, sir.
and the web designer will now what make the design to go live.
Okay, sir.
So they are both designers. So
Thank you, sir.
I think I've been
Well,
able to answer your question.
is it advisable to learn the two?
It all depends on what you if you want to. Yes, you can learn the two.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
There's no harm in what learning the two. So
Okay, sir.
if we have more questions, we should ask. We take them. The class is gradually coming to an end. I hope we understood everything. I hope we
Yes, sir.
understood
We are very
everything.
grateful, sir.
If you have a
Yeah,
question,
please say a
please.
big thank you to our facilitator. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Malik. We really enjoyed today's section. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Bambele, don't know if you have anything to say.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. I've been listening to you.
Boss.
How you doing? So how was it?
Very funny. So we are
I
here.
think people were joining and they were going. Is it their network or something?
These things always happen with online classes.
I don't know.
And majorly, I think MTN network
For me,
is
mine was
like
network.
Yes, I
Network
think MTN
for like
network is
50
actually very
minutes.
poor today.
So major people use name MTN, so that can be
Yes.
like a major factor.
Yeah.
I think that was what was happening with me, so I had to switch to like Airtel.
Okay, no problem. I think it's already it's to be on YouTube, so they can always go back and watch. So I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
No, well, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
everybody.
sir.
All right, it's fine.
I'm just gonna end this stream, so you guys can always, when you're done, just end the meeting. Or can we end the meeting now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Edidion is raising up his hands.